Conservation Commission for December 12th, 2017. We're going to start with our continued hearings. First hearing, pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 as amended, to be a public meeting, consider an RDA by Highland Manor Realty Trust regarding the determination of a potential wetland address 826 West Street, map 514, lot 8. Is there someone representing the applicant?
Pat Scorzelli for Highland Manor. Matt Morrow, who was the conservation, he basically was asked to go out and reflag at the request of this commission. My understanding is he has done that, and our engineer is yet to plot that, so if I could ask for a continuance, I would appreciate that.
Okay, that's fine. Do we need to vote on the continuance?
Are we gonna continue this to a certain date? How are we gonna handle, you really,
January 9th is the next.
right, but how are we gonna be able to get out and look at a wetland area covered in snow? We have no plans to go on.
I actually was going to suggest a sidewalk, but my whole plan coming in was like, let's get a sidewalk regardless while they're plotting it, but
Yeah,
there's
50%
some white
of-
stuff on the
yeah.
ground now.
50% of the determination is plants, so it's kind of hard
Yeah,
to do that outside the growing season.
hopefully we'll get
Unless we get a washout or
If
something.
you read the powers to be, we're supposed to get some little warming before the holidays and this white stuff will disappear, but short of that, I'm not quite sure how we accomplish that one.
So what do you think? When would you like to continue it to? That's the problem.
I guess we can see what we see. It could be blatant, like we go out there and we're like, oh yeah. And
Okay.
based on elevations, sometimes in there it's pretty cut and dry, but
There should be some flagging still out there, from my understanding, so you could go to where the flags are, do a little excavating, not that I'm trying to make this more difficult, but the plants are the plants, they're just sleeping right now.
Yeah. Why don't we continue it to our next meeting and readdress it at that point?
Yeah, let's hope we get lucky and get some warming.
Is our next meeting January 9th? Is that the date?
Yep.
Okay.
Would we get the map prior to that meeting, so that if the ground ended up being bare, we could get out and take a look, or?
Well, that was the original stance we're gonna have, is the plan with the flags on it, and go out in the field, confirm the wetland boundaries by that plan, but
Right.
seeing that we don't have the plan.
Right.
So I will try to expedite that plan that would let that happen, that if we get a thaw or we get a melt, I'll certainly get that to Marco so that it provides us all the opportunity to go. And if I'm anywhere near, he knows how to find me, so I can meet you guys out there.
Right.
Okay. All right. We need to vote on that, or are we good? Continuance?
yeah, we have to.
All right. Do I have a motion to continue the meeting till January 9th?
Make a motion to continue the hearing until January 9th.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? All right, we are good. Next hearing. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended, there be a public hearing. Considers a notice of intent by CRX Realty Trust regarding the construction of condominium, associated parking, and stormwater management within a 100-foot buffer zone of a wetland. Address 96 Exchange Street, map 111, lot 6.
Gentleman, Pat Scorzelli representing CRX. At our last meeting, the main concerns were unfortunately only two. So I'll kind of take it in order. The thing is now designated with the concern for four-wheel drive vehicles and for snow. So this will have signage, no snow will be stacked here, and there actually will be some type of rail system and things so that for everybody's sake, there's no four-wheel drive, so it's whatever going past this point. Number two was the ability, since these projects have a separate lot line, but they're common entity, it still was requested that we put an easement should something strange ever happen. So this is the property line. And along that, you see a working easement that allows access from either project actually to the other project, and certainly access to the detention basin and to the open space. Next was, actually, there's a guardrail here, which protects the detention basin and that area we were just talking about as far as anybody basically going in there. Well, I'll wait to get to the second plans, but just while I'm there, the shrubs that were shown in the detention area have been removed outside of the detention area. Obviously here along the easement line, and the ones that were here have been moved basically to the parking area behind that sign, which further stops someone from, trying to see if they can sneak their dirt bike through there or something. So it's going to be tough. And then the one that seemed to be the most concern was, there is, if you look, a 429 elevation, which will now be the top of the basin, which now fits with the stormwater. And the 6-inch orifice has been removed for a spillway, which the calculations all stayed the same, and it created better water quality. And Mr. Oldfield's here, but my understanding is that DPW actually preferred that approach also. There should be, hopefully you guys got this packet.
They're provided that.
Okay, so if you, everything that I know we had raised as issues at the last meeting are addressed in this new revised plan. And you should have copies of both these plans. They're stamped. The set that was just given to you, I know we were lacking some engineering stamps, which usually we try to do last when all the changes have been made, so they're stamped. And any questions?
Commission members, questions? Yes,
I have
sir.
When were these revisions submitted?
I received these Sunday night,
So,
or Saturday night, excuse me.
okay, but City Hall's closed Saturday, so you've had them since Monday,
Right.
right? Okay, I'm all set. Can I see this?
Yes, sir.
Just one, on the detention basin, a lot of times after these projects go through, people come back and they need you to work on the detention basin. Is that sized in such a way that this is gonna be, if this area did need to be, like, modified or repaired, that they can do that without, disturbing the resource area?
Oh, yeah, when you look at, actually, between these two buildings, this, as you guys know, was built, you guys approved. So there's plenty of ability to actually get here, and if you really wanted to, this is now protected, which is more direct. You can get to this end building here, and this is just open.
Yeah, so they could reach that with a backhoe and whatever.
Oh, absolutely. You can come right through these two buildings, sit right here on this top elevation.
And just get on.
Yeah, and if not, as crazy as it would seem, is you could literally come here, and there's actually a space in between here. You'd have to be ginger about it, and not, you're not gonna go through there like Grant to Richmond, but you certainly could access all sides of this detention basin. Plus, someone sitting here in these three spots, depending on what size excavator you're using, could turn and reach pretty much to the center of the basin.
Yeah, a lot of times people come in and they say,
Yep.
oh, well, because of where it's located, we have no choice but to
Right.
go in the wetland. And
Yep.
I'd rather not,
Yeah,
that not happen.
we
So that's
shouldn't
good.
have, there should be no reason from, actually from these two especially, and from this side, not being able to do whatever in that basin.
Okay.
Marco, anything?
Any other questions?
More of a concern than a question, I guess. The files that I received on Monday because of the situation, and the drainage calculations and figures, it's 109 pages of statistics and charts and graphs. That's a lot of data to digest in a very short period of time, so I don't really feel all that comfortable that I've had enough time to look at it.
Mr. Chairman,
What's that?
I agree with Paul.
Okay. Yes, sir.
if I could, Kent Oldfield. The calculations haven't changed at all, as far as the numbers, still flows that you had before. We took out the 6-inch orifice that was on there that was left over, that was at the same elevation as the spillway. So that was just removed. So the number's still the same as they were prior to the initial submission. Other than that one
Yeah,
orifice taken out.
I think that what's being said here is, one, in this commission, we've now been in front of you a few times, and this is what we're here for, but nothing has changed in the result of pre and post. All of those, I mean, there's an engineered stamp on this certifying to that. The liability would certainly be on us, this project. We're just, now we've got some on the ground where this project could have been worked on, now it's just gonna become more expensive, but, and I'm not trying to shirk any of that responsibility. I apologize for the lateness. I too got it late. I got it Saturday night and spent Sunday after church looking for it, so, but, you know, I guess for what it's worth, we'll go on the record that nothing has changed prior. Any prior applications and submissions are the same, nothing has changed. And again, the liability is certainly all on us and the engineer. So I'm not trying to in any way negate that statement, but I would submit to you that there's nothing here that has not been presented before, and basically I'm going on the record as saying what you see now is what you've pretty much approved prior to that.
The flood elevation, yeah, the flood elevation in the pond, still the same elevation that was there before. So in layman's terms, that 6-inch pipe is here, and the spillway was here. The water came up, and it goes up the spillway. The pre and post are identical. It was just removal of that 6-inch orifice, that's all.
Any other questions or comments from the commission? Yes.
Yeah. Is there a written easement?
There's an easement on the plan, that's right now.
Is that language been drafted?
We haven't done a written easement. We're gonna do an easement, we can do.
And that easement's just the dashed line, it doesn't have any bearings?
Yes, it does.
It does have it?
Shows it on
Can
the
you
plan.
point that out to me?
Let's see.
This dash line, I think.
Right there, and this is 15 feet parallel to this one. Comes parallel to this, 15 feet to the end of this, that's our property line. And
Yeah.
then it comes to here, and veers off for access. And it comes up 80, 80, 52 to the end of this. Point this location.
And certainly if it behooves this commission, if we need to make that a condition, it's, you know, if it's our intent, then we certainly will be held to that standard.
Right. So you got bearings there, here,
Yeah,
and here.
okay.
And that's parallel.
Any other questions or comments?
Did you want to see this?
All you good for the moment?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Anybody else in the audience like to speak on this? Second and third time? All right, what would you gentlemen like to do? Would you like time to review that, or you wanna?
I don't feel as I'd like time to read it.
I don't feel as though I've had enough time.
Okay. I can't vote, so with that, would you like a continuance?
I guess I'll land up one more time in front of this commission, I hope, for the final time.
Okay.
Is there anything that you'd like for us?
I'd like to see the written language for the easement.
Very good. Would it, instead of a written, maybe an easement plan?
Well, you should have the plan as well as
Not really, you can have either or.
Yeah.
You can have either or. Would the commission like a plan or written?
I personally, I'd like to see both.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to continue to our,
One more thing.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Also, Kent, with the revised H&H, that should be included with the stormwater report. I think the email we got was just the
the
hydrocast. Yep, so
You
update
want
the
the
entire
updated
report,
report?
get that stamp submitted, and
You got it,
do that as well, okay?
you got it. And what I'll do is I'll show the previous report to this report. It'll be the same numbers, at least you can see that hasn't changed.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a very happy holiday.
Just one more, did you want that recorded before the hearing, or that plan? Reason plan?
I don't,
Until it's
my opinion is it
approved.
doesn't
No,
need to be
until it's approved.
recorded.
Yeah,
Well,
until it's
yeah,
approved,
you-
I want to
I'll-
make sure before I show up
No,
there
no,
and say,
no,
we need to be recorded.
When it's approved, we'll
yeah.
get it recorded.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, gentlemen, and Merry Christmas.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
do I have a motion to continue this to the January 9th meeting?
Motion to continue to January 9th.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. And our last continued hearing pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended. We have public hearing to consider a notice of intent by Jamison Van Dyke regarding the construction of a driveway and some site grading for a septic system within the buffer zone of an intermittent stream and associated wetland, address Pierce Street, map 412, lot 10. Someone represent the applicant.
That's Trevor Fletcher, I'm with the engineering company. We got 4 plans here. Thank you.
This year.
That's so we left a month ago. Biggest concern was the driveway. And since then, we got a stone swale down the right side with 3 check dams along it, and there's 2 little extra lip wrap and a culvert, and that brings it across the driveway and into some more rip wrap, and then lets it flow down to the stream like it naturally would now anyway. And so that should help with the erosion of the driveway. The driveway is, I have confirmed, is going to be paved, not gravel, so that should also help with it. And we added a construction entrance at the beginning of the driveway, so during construction, that's going to minimize erosion onto Pierce Street. And we made a more pronounced dip in the area right before the driveway, so you're actually going up about a foot. Yeah, you're going right up about a foot to the to Pierce Street, so hopefully. And another question that was posed last month was the frontage, the amount of frontage. I dug into that a little deeper, and on the A&R plan that I did, I didn't notice it, but this little triangle piece right by Pierce Street here is it was conveyed over from the abutting parcel to make it a acceptable building lot with 175 feet of frontage, and so that is doable. And that is. Oh, and we also submitted to Board of Health, and they got back to us. They only had a couple changes, but the pipe type and that charcoal filter on the depot. So that's all taken care of, and those plans should be good for Board of Health as well. So nothing will change there. And any questions?
Commission members?
I have a question from Marco, because we had the other project, and people were saying that there were some issues with the runoff.
Right.
Did you get a chance to see that?
I actually went up there with Mr. Colombo a couple weeks ago. And, a lot of that erosion was attributed to the roadway
Okay.
being undermined. DPW has yet to go up there. I've informed them of this several months ago.
Okay. There's a lot of similarities, so I was just curious as to.
Yeah, I mean, overall, they're going to be doing another, they're going to be installing the other side of the driveway check dam. So it is what it is up there. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah. Okay. So. All right.
But overall, the project's coming along good.
Yeah.
Driveways are similar though. Like
Yeah. That was kind of my question. Is how that.
But the erosion was more roadway,
it was
runoff
undermining
from
the
the
road.
roadway than actually
Okay.
the driveway.
All right. Okay. So the roadway elevation is the 70 .85?
Yes, that's existing.
Okay. And you're dropping down just below 70? Is that-
Yeah, we're at 70 will be the, that's kind of where it goes.
Okay.
And then the sides will be like 69.9 or something like that.
What's the stone swale gonna be made of?
The details at the bottom of the sheet there.
No, there's the swale.
So, yeah. It's at the bottom of the sheet right here.
Oh, okay. Any other comments or questions?
I just have a comment. One thing that we do, like, or we've done in the past when there's a wetland replication is we sort of require there some time to go by before, like a certificate of compliance is issued. I don't know if that's something we can do here. I would like to say, I mean, I think this is a great plan. I think you did a good job, addressing our needs, but I would like to sort of see it in action and make sure that some time has gone by to see how it's performing before like a certificate of compliance ends up being issued on the property so that,
So kind of a timeline as a condition on the order before we
Right.
issue a certificate of compliance.
does that seem reasonable? Just,
Yes, as far as I know,
on a plan, this looks like a great plan, but you don't know what's gonna happen.
exactly, yeah. One thing's shown on paper, the other thing's different.
Yeah. Because we just don't wanna see, erosion, or things washing into the road or, another issue is we have a lot of issues in this area with ice.
Yeah.
So if we have too much water running off this site into the road, it causes ice problems.
What's the timeline on the start of construction season or?
Probably, that's my guess. I can't speak for Jamie. I know probably the first go is installing erosion control.
Yeah,
And before the spring, you don't want to be doing a septic in the middle of December, January.
no, but I didn't know if it was gonna be later in 2018.
Oh, it's probably going to be spring, I
Might be,
guess.
once the
this
season
is
starts,
September. Yep.
construction will
Yep.
start, give or take, whatever.
Yeah, that's my understanding of it, yes.
No, I do have to reiterate Larry's things. I'm pretty happy with what you guys come up with here. I think this addresses a lot of our concerns with the swale and the pad and stuff, so.
The neighbors' voices were heard, and we wanted to make sure that they were satisfied with it as well.
I'm good. You're sure, go ahead.
You've got two 12-inch culverts.
Yes.
What's the pipe material?
It's a corrugated plastic pipe.
How much cover is over both of those?
It's gonna be, the invert is gonna be 69, and then, so it'll be 70, so yeah, we're gonna need some.
Yeah.
Good catch. So yeah, we'll have to put the invert lower probably, because the bottom of this is 68. We just gotta put some area to be pulled, so we can drop that invert down. Then, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think you've got the same issue there.
Same issue there, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we can definitely change that.
So yeah, I think we need to see some revised grading around the inverts too, just to show that everything's gonna work there. But other than that, I like the improvements that we made.
Is that something we could write into a condition, or?
My own take is that's a pretty minor change. If you could quickly get that
Yeah,
revised and
that's just
submitted.
popping it in, changing
Right.
two numbers and
Yeah.
reprinting.
And if the elevations don't work for some reason, consider changing the pipe material, but it's pretty easy to fix.
So you're okay voting on it tonight if we need to?
I am, I think it's minor, but
Okay.
it's up to everyone.
Okay, that's fine. Liz, you have any comments or questions?
No, that's good.
There, you all set?
I'm good.
Okay. I'm gonna open it up to the audience. Anybody in the audience like to speak on this? Yes, sir.
Stanley Trim, a butter. I just, if you ladies and gentlemen can appease me, how I have a letter here from the zoning board, the same lot, prior owner being denied a building permit to build on that lot. How is that possible?
That is not our jurisdiction. I can't answer that, nor this board can answer that.
But something had to have either gone forward or something needs to happen after this, am I correct?
This board is dealing with just the wetland and the stormwater, so that zoning and all that goes to city council and planning board and all those. So,
Before or after this?
I do not know.
Well, I just I think this was addressed. The engineer had said that the abutter, it looks like a Mr. or NF Albert, had cut off a triangular section of property, and that's on this plan.
To give it the adequate frontage.
This little triangular lot right here is the lot that was conveyed to allow it to be buildable.
Excuse me, do you have a copy of the plan?
I do. Actually, I brought it just in case. Right. When was that dated? Do you know?
October 2015.
Yeah. This new plan is January 3rd, 2017. And what they did was they took this triangular piece right here and they gave it an extra 70 feet of frontage, and then they moved their driveway coming down this way.
Clever. But that's still,
It ends up being about 178 feet of frontage.
I'm confused. The prior owner gave a driveway away
No, just
as part of this?
just frontage. I mean, there's a driveway there. It doesn't matter what's on it. He just moved his access over there, so that could be another building lot.
So is there now an easement on this?
No, he's not going to use that driveway anymore.
To his house?
Yeah, he moved the driveway to his house over there. You can see right here it says access for lot 2. And this is lot 2. So the access is going to be on this side now.
And has that been proposed yet?
I'm not aware of what's proposed. I don't even know if there's a driveway there or
No,
on the
there's
side.
no driveway there.
Well, then he's going to have to take it up with the new owner because he has no rights to go over his land. And if he wants rights to go over that land, he would have to go get an easement from the owner, which is now Jamie Van Dyke. If Jamie has a problem with it.
Can I have this, or can I take a picture of it?
It's in the registry of deeds, and you can take that, yeah,
Thank you.
if you would like that.
Anything further?
No, go for it.
All right. Anybody else in the audience like to speak on this? Second and third time? Any questions or comments before I close the public hearing? Or any objections to closing the public hearing?
No.
All right. Public hearing is now closed. Do we have any recommendations, Mr. Mingrazzi?
I recommend the issuance of a standard order of conditions for DEP file number 199-1062 with a standard boilerplate and the following added conditions: that a revised plan be submitted prior to the issuance of this order, addressing the issues regarding the culverts and the ground cover above them. Roadway entrance shall be swept clean of all accumulated sediments. Construction entrance track pad shall be maintained as to ensure optimal performance for the cleaning of sediment off of construction vehicle tires. drainage swale / stormwater system and all associated features shall be maintained in perpetuity, including the removal of any accumulated sediments and excessive vegetation that may inhibit the function of the system. Those are my conditions.
What is your thought on the timeline that you,
I'm just thinking, like, I mean, I don't know how soon the property owner would want to come in for a certificate of compliance, but I'd like to see the driveway function in some period of heavy rains. You know, have it
Right.
maybe documented, or I'm not really sure how that would be worded, but I would like to see it functioning, you know, during, you know, maybe go through a spring, or, you know.
Yeah, maybe first thing in the spring, they'll construct the driveway and the associated drainage, and while they're building the house, the septic and all that, you can see how it performs during the spring then, because it's gonna take about, a month probably for the house to be built.
But you're gonna have a construction pad out there too, though,
Yeah.
during the construction,
Yeah.
so. I just wanna
can we
see
have
it.
it go out a year? I mean, I don't know how long
Well,
it can go.
that gets into legal issues.
I know,
because-
that's why I don't know. I don't know the legalities of,
Yeah,
because once it's done and everything's done, they can get their
right.
certificate of compliance, you know?
That's right.
And I don't wanna hold someone up from like closing out on a loan or something over,
Right.
you know, but I mean, this is it's kind of a unique request, but I mean, I just,
Does anybody have input on what their thoughts are? If you know any legal precedent or withholding the certificate of compliance over time?
Over drainage features, I haven't seen it before. I mean, I would think that once, the plan shows that it's a paved driveway, so it's gotta be
Right.
paved before we're gonna issue the certificate anyway.
Right.
Culverts are large enough that it should handle what's going down
Right.
there, so it's just a matter of, did they grade it properly? And I think a lot of that you can eyeball, but I would think at some point, we'll see it rain at least a few times before
Yeah.
a certificate would be requested.
Right.
I'm not overly concerned about that.
okay. Yeah, well, yeah, I guess we'll see it, right? It's gonna rain obviously before,
Right.
while they're doing construction, while it's,
I suppose if we see something that we don't like, we can not issue the certificate and make them fix it at that point.
Right.
So,
One more question.
yes.
Are you doing a SWIP for this project?
No, because it has to be over an acre disturbance, I believe. I think that was what was said.
How big is this lot?
It's, let's see, 102,000 square feet. Or actually, with them, that's 3,000 extra. But actually, I drew this line, I forgot to delete it actually. And this is the outer bounds of the disturbance all the way around. And it came out to be about 35,000.
And that's the polygon right there?
Yeah. I just realized that it somehow stayed on.
Marco, does the stormwater bylaw trigger lesser disturbance areas?
So how they do it for the city is if they come in for a notice of intent, that waives having to file with the DPW, with the stormwater bylaw.
That's in the bylaw?
Well, that's how they've done it in the past. So instead of going to DPW, it gets waived because of the notice of intent. I'll have to check the language on that though.
Okay. But on the federal level, you're under an acre, so you're all set there, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's how they've handled it in the past, Brad. And the threshold is 5,000 square feet of disturbance for the city.
Would you like some time to review?
No, I'll take a look at it after. It's
Okay.
not too important right now.
Okay. I guess, do I have a motion with Marco's recommendations or something other?
Mr. Chairman, I make a
Yes.
motion that we issue an order of conditions for, what's the address here? Is there a house number here?
Pierce Street.
It's 567 Pierce Street. What?
It's DP 199-1069. 62, sorry, 1062. That's the number you told us, right, Mike?
That's right, yeah.
Okay. With the conditions that the agent discussed.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed and abstained. All right, if you could get that plan
Yeah.
fixed
Yeah, we'll submit
over
that
to
to you
Marco
tomorrow.
as soon as
I'll do
possible.
that, yeah.
Thank you.
Easy enough.
Very good.
Could I possibly get a plan of the driveway, please?
You go with us?
That's
why I want
full
these.
size one, if you
Please.
want it.
Thank you kindly.
You're welcome. And want to keep one of the full-size ones, or want me to take some off your hands?
I don't need it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing those in.
Yeah, thank you.
You might want a bigger one.
Yeah, I'll take an extra. Just
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you want this one too, or?
Yeah, I leave it. Why not?
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
The more the merrier.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Too.
All right, we're moving on to our regular meeting. Certificates of compliance, 8 Nutting Drive, 199-1004.
Yep, I have a request for certificate of compliance under the conditions that no work has been performed on this lot. This gentleman was actually in last meeting and received a new order of conditions for 8 Nutting Drive. So this is just him doing some due diligence on removing this old order from his deed.
Okay. Do I have a motion to either order to issue a certificate of compliance or something else?
Chairman, I'll make a motion that we issue a certificate of compliance for 8 Nutting Drive, DEP file number 199-1004.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Thank you. Extension permits, Slack Brook, DP 199-1006.
So if anybody's been up Exchange Street, see that they've started work on the brook. There was a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers project up there to reestablish the failing road bank into the Slack Brook. So this it's been a long time in the works, and now is finally underway. And the order is soon to expire in February 13th, 2018. So I think we should definitely issue an extension permit for this project. Time-wise, it would be up to the commission what we're looking for. 1 to 3 years. I would recommend 3 years, just in the event that they have to actually get out there and fix something that ends up, failing or becoming an issue. Or we can do it yearly.
Who's doing this project?
So Sumco Engineering is doing it, but this is under the Army Corps Engineers.
It's actually an Army Corps project.
Well, it's City Leominster project, it's not Army Corps is doing the work. Well, overseeing it.
There's freshwater trout in the stream, so Army Corps.
Well, I could see why Army Corps might be involved permitting wise,
Yeah.
I just don't know why they'd be involved construction wise.
No, they're not involved in construction. They just,
Well, they have an on-site engineer that they'll
Yeah.
have out there, but they're not doing the work. Sumco Engineering is.
but there was a replication area, so,
Right.
they have to, once they do the work, the bank has to be
Oh, yeah, and they're gonna be,
stabilized, they have to restore habitat. Just trying to develop habitat, so I think it's gonna,
It's gonna take a little while.
yeah, 3 years sounds like.
Okay, I remember this project coming in front of us a long time ago, it seems, so.
yeah, a long time in the works, so.
All right, do I have a motion to issue an extension permit for this project or something else? Yes,
I'll make a motion for a 3-year extension for DEP file number 199-1006 Slack Brook.
do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Hill Street, DEP 199523. Yes, sir.
Yes, Chris Harrington. Seeking to get an extension on the existing filing.
Okay.
I know last time I was here, Larry had requested that we have Marcus walk the property, and he's done that. I don't believe there's any significant changes in the wetland. Maybe for some of the members that aren't familiar with this, these are pretty old filings. Originally, this plan was engineered and approved for 7 lots, 1 existing home and 6 new lots. The replication I did probably 10 to 12 years ago, and Marcus can tell you, I mean, that's taken pretty well. The blueberry bushes are there, and the wetland is expanded to the areas where the replication was done. I haven't done any construction on the property, and actually I've eliminated 3 of the house lots. It's been combined, and there's 4. There's 1 existing home and 3 other house lots. And the earlier filing, I think it was 523, that had an approval when I bought it, which was for 2 houses, 2 house lots. I combined that into 1 house lot. So I'm actually way better off just with a smaller number of lots, and I may end up eliminating 1 more lot. The plan that you had last time doesn't show that I combined the easterly side lots together, so that eliminated 1 more since that point. I'd like to get a 2-year or 3-year extension. I don't know what the board's position is on that. I'm not planning to do anything. If I do, I'd certainly come before the board or come before the conservation agent and present whatever I plan to do here before we start anything.
Can you, so, there's been so many changes, so like, you have 2 lots, is it lot 4B and 3B that,
It was, the lots that were eliminated was 5A and lot 1A.
so like, which lot are we looking at right now? Which one is 523?
This one was 523. This used to be 2 lots, 1 here and 1 here. I combined that into this lot here and made an access for this lot. Now this lot I just removed this year. That's combined with this, so that's all 1 house lot now with the existing home. There's 1 lot here, 1 lot here, and 1 lot there. So we got these 2. I'm probably gonna eliminate this lot too. This, like I say, this replication was all done based on the 7 lot total. And the replication, appears to be fine. The only thing that I may do is put an access driveway here, which was part of that plan at some point. And if I do that, I will certainly contact the commission so we can make sure that things are properly done.
So this corner lot is under its own DP file
Well,
number?
it was when I bought it. Purchased from DiGeronimo
Okay,
Associates
that's right.
originally, which was 2.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, got some additional land on it. You'd have to go back and take a look at the specifics, but the deeds have changed several times here.
Right, this is so confusing at this point.
The wetlands haven't changed,
Right, I mean, so,
and nothing, the conditions on the property haven't changed. And I've reduced the number of lots, so the impact eventually will be far less than what it would have been.
now do you have plans like on file with the city, like lot, like,
It's been recorded last year, the city should have it.
so, I'm just thinking with like this file for 199-523, it'd be nice to have,
That plan should be in the original filing. If you don't have it, I probably do.
I believe
I
I
have the
have
orders of
that.
conditions.
okay. I'm just thinking it would make sense to have, just because the lot lines have changed.
Right.
If we,
I think you have everything pretty much. I
I
think
have an extensive file on this. This plan that you're seeing now is, I have a letter here from Mrs. DiNardo talking about all the revisions that have been presented in the past and that they've been updated under, the commission had agreed that it was minor change with removing those lots, and this plan now reflects all
all
the
that stuff.
current.
okay, so this,
Regardless of you wanting to remove that home,
Right,
yeah,
but this is what is up to date and current at this point.
except that this lot here now doesn't exist. So we're down 1 more lot. with all the changes and everything.
Okay,
So,
five.
okay, so we have two plans. One is for lot, this one here, and what is the other one is for which lot?
Well, it would cover the rest of this.
Okay.
I agree with you, Larry.
I think we need some sort of like narration, sort of, or a plan. It's just,
How about if I create a letter going through the chronology of what we did, what lots were changed, reference the plans?
because because my concern is, right now, we have these two files that don't accurately reflect what was originally approved.
Yes, it does, as far as the replication and the wetlands.
Right, no, I'm
Nothing's
saying,
changed.
but the lot line, so we just need something to bring it all together and bring it, Mrs. Stone, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, but I need to take a sidetrack on it. Do you have WPA Form 7 with you?
No.
Okay. On there, it says that you cannot extend an expired order of conditions. So if these actually expired, the 6th.
Well, I made the application prior to that,
Right, but we can't extend it once it's expired. When did you submit the request?
last month.
Last month you said, I have an email from him reflecting that. I don't have it on me, but he did
Okay.
request this prior.
I submitted it to the city clerk and everything, before it expired.
Check on the date on that,
Yeah.
but I mean, clearly on the form it says you can't extend an expired permit. In the regulations on the 310 CMR, it says that you have to submit the request at least 30 days prior to the expiration. So there's some gray conflicted area there. So we can sort through the procedural stuff, but that's one of the questions I have at this point too, is if we can actually extend it at this point.
Right, my understanding was, in the last time, we were over the limit when we got to the meeting, but I had submitted the request prior to the expiration date.
Yeah, that's not what the regs say. The regs don't say you have to submit it just prior to the expiration date. It specifically says you've got to submit it a minimum 30 days prior to the expiration. The actual document that we issue says that the commission can't extend it once it's expired. So we'll take a look at that. If you submitted it at least 30 days in advance, I would probably be okay with it because the regulations say that. But again, there's that confliction with the actual document that we issue too. It's not standard that commissions issue them once they expire. So I guess my take is that I want to see when you submitted it, see if you met that 30-day deadline, and then go from there.
Okay, it's probably close to the 30 days. I'm not sure if it's under or over. I can't remember the exact date. So where do we stand if it's,
If you didn't meet the minimum of 30 days and it's already expired, then I would say that we probably couldn't extend it.
so all this goes down the drain?
You'd be looking at filing a new notice of intent at that point. Right?
Well, so where do we stand right now? Is somebody going to get back to me?
Can I go print that email? Like,
Sure.
It'll take me just a couple seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a huge amount of money invested in all this.
Right, no, I
engineering.
understand that. Yeah. But we also don't want to do something under the regs that we're not permitted to do.
No, I understand that. That's the first time I've ever heard the 30-day limitation. I knew it had to be submitted prior to the expiration, but I never understood or was told that it had to be in 30 days. When was that regulation created?
That's been in there for a long time now. So if you've extended it 3 years ago, I mean, nothing's changed since then.
Last year.
Last year, yeah, nothing's changed since then.
Make sure that goes back to where that came from. And you don't know the date. Basically, it'd have to be November 6th or before. You don't know that.
I don't remember the exact date. I emailed it and I submitted it to the city clerk with a date timestamp.
Okay. Marco should be able to find the date.
Well, did we get a copy of that paper? if some got submitted to the clerk, does it get copied?
I think Marco said it was in an email, so I mean, whatever date's on the email, I think would be
Oh, is that,
sufficient.
okay, they just
Yeah.
scanned it and emailed it to me.
Okay, so I've got a date of November 22nd. When you emailed me.
And the letter's dated the 20th. See you later.
Pass it over to Dan.
Okay. So with that, I guess we cannot issue an extension.
So there is no flexibility in that.
From what I can read now, again, is with a lot of things in the wetland regs, there's sometimes some gray area. That's why I wanted to look at it from two perspectives. One, what does the actual regulations say under 310 CMR? It says you have to submit it a minimum of 30 days in advance. The other one says on the form itself, it says only unexpired orders can be extended. So if it was unexpired at this point and you didn't meet the 30 days, I would still be supportive of issuing the extension because it's not expired yet. But however, it is expired. It says on the extension permit that you can't issue it once it's expired. It also says the minimum time frame in the regs that you have to submit it is 30 days in advance.
So it doesn't allow the commission any flexibility.
I would say it does not.
So what is my choice now? Resubmit this plan?
To refile, right?
Can I refile this plan?
I wouldn't see why not if that's.
All right. So I guess that's about it for that. Thank you.
Okay.
See you later.
Formally vote on something.
We can do that, that's fine.
The lake's covered and the
I
others-
highly doubt it's all removed, so
Yeah,
definitely with
maybe
it,
it's
I already
not,
had it.
yeah, we'd have to,
It looks like the brook upstream and some downstream areas are too. Up
You'll have to
to the
look into
reservoir.
I could print an updated map for the priority habitat in that area.
I'm sure it says somewhere in here what it is too.
yeah.
It's probably all encompassing, most likely up there.
But they took, I think there was a species of turtle that was taken off the list at some point, because up in Castle Land, that feeds into Lake Samoset is where it was, there was some,
The spotted turtle was delisted years ago, and I think the wood turtle was the one taken off in a recent update.
so I don't know if that changed, you know, we'll have to, yeah, if you can look into that, because it's been a while since. But yeah, they did identify areas where there was like, you know, there's like tree stumps growing out in areas that are supposed to be identified as potential habitat, that they're supposed to leave like 50 feet. You know, that they don't treat within 50 feet of those areas.
So were there special conditions in this order, Marco? Or is it
There
all the?
was no boilerplate on that.
I only see the DEP standard ones.
Right. And I could not find anything deeper in the file for a boilerplate.
Because if you look in past files, there was always, because I created a set of special conditions
Okay.
for chemical treatment
Okay.
at the commission's request. It was from one of the DEP guides, and they had a whole list of conditions that they suggested. It was in like a lake and stream manual or something, and had a sample order conditions in it.
What's the date on that order?
Should
Should be 2015.
Yeah, April 2015. And you did say you scanned this now, so you can send it to everyone?
Yep.
Okay. Now, the other question I have, do they do the dry down for weed management as well?
They do.
Is that the only reason they do it?
I believe so.
No, they do it because of the dam,
Oh, yes.
require dam safety.
They have to have an annual dam inspection because it's a
High hazard?
high hazard thing.
So
So they have the boards that they have to take the boards down.
and that's the
To lower-
association that owns that, right?
Correct.
Not the city?
Right.
Right.
How much do they draw it down?
I know they take the boards down, I think that's all they do. And I don't know what the elevation, it's just 2 boards that they put up in the summertime, or in the spring. But I don't know the height.
And they're due for an extension, or they're gonna be looking for an extension on that order, right?
Right.
Um,
In May. Well, it's up in May,
okay.
but
Is it current, do you know if it's currently
It is.
drawn down now?
it is current. They
Yeah,
did do the drawdown.
They did it, all right. Can we get a copy of their dam safety permit from them? Ask if they've got a copy, if we don't already have it.
Yep.
I'd like to see what ODS is required in that in terms of the drawdown. And I think you may have sent me the order before, but it's probably on the email I can't access now.
Okay.
So
Shucks.
if you could send that stuff again.
Sure.
Yeah.
I could do that.
All right.
And the city has that on file, Charlie Coggins has all those.
The dam
Every
safety
dam, yeah,
stuff.
every dam in the city he has on file.
I have a evaluation report as well, and have it scanned in, so I could send that off to you guys if you'd like as well. They provided that to me. But yeah, I can get this stuff.
All right.
So we want to postpone this one until next meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can probably ask, I know Pete Lances usually can answer pretty much any question you have about the lake. So
Yeah.
him and Ed Hamlin are really good with knowledge on the lake, so maybe if we ask them to come in just to
Yeah,
answer questions.
I'll talk to Mr. Lanza, see if he could re-up that other drawdown extension, and just have him come in to speak on behalf of this and the drawdown.
Okay.
He'll be fine with that, I'm sure. But in the meantime, I'll compile the documents that we discussed.
So we'll continue that to our next meeting. Communications,
None.
minutes.
Minutes. Honestly, can't remember if I resent these to you guys. I think I did.
Don't recall seeing those.
I don't.
I don't.
Thought I sent them.
I think
So
you sent them to us initially. I don't think
A
you
while ago.
resent them the latest time though. I do remember seeing them.
No, they didn't come in the last,
So I assume these haven't been reviewed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I honestly can't.
Yeah, if you could resend them, because that way,
Not since
Yeah,
the last meeting
that's
a
my
month ago,
fault.
so.
I apologize for that. I'll resend these to you guys.
Okay.
Because we gotta get these off in the new minutes that I have to add to this.
was there some discussion on one of these sets the last meeting about some changes that needed to be done? Or am I thinking about way
It
back?
was just, I think it was, no, that was,
The last meeting, there were 3 sets and we actually voted on one.
Right.
That's,
Right, because we didn't have enough people for the others.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, if you could resend them, because I can't remember if I reviewed them.
that's fine, I'll send
I
it.
know it hasn't been since the last meeting, so I haven't seen them.
Okay.
New business,
None at this time.
old business, 767 Willard Street.
This one's still tabled, I haven't heard anything about it.
Okay.
That's it.
Moosnock Brook, have we heard anything new?
The newest I've heard is that they requested an appropriation from City Council, that was last night, for $14,300 to pay to a consultant So they're still working with that consultant.
Okay,
Now they were requesting an appropriation of money to pay for the consultant's work, I guess.
okay.
And it's at the DPW because
It's the DPW request.
I'm assuming the consultant's coming up with a plan.
That is correct, that's what this would be covering, would be that plan.
Engineering too, do you know?
I believe so, I
So
believe
it'd be
it's for the
A
whole,
plan and engineering, the whole thing?
it's like a feasibility on doing everything.
Okay,
and- Or doing sections,
right.
that kind of thing.
Okay.
I don't know how it went last night.
I don't know either.
I didn't watch it. I just know that we on the agenda.
Okay.
I would have went to the meeting if I knew there.
Enforcement, 375 Harvard Street. Anything new on that?
No, we were in agreement that we were going to wait till the January, February timeframe for a new notice of intent to be submitted by the property owner there regarding the abandonment of the septic systems, a connection to the sewer line, and the restoration that has to be completed.
Okay. Now, that's what we talked about at the last meeting, so nothing
Nothing's
has
new.
changed. Okay. 258 Exchange Street.
Yep, this was the patio that
Yep.
was put in the riverfront area. I have a notice of intent that was submitted to me, and I sent it to the Sentinel, and they had an error, and were not able to post the legal ad on Tuesday. They're able to post it on Wednesday. So I didn't even put it on the agenda because we wouldn't have the correct notification time.
Okay.
So that'll be on the January 9th meeting agenda.
Okay. 723 Willard Street.
723 Willard Street. Last meeting, we approved the October 24th minutes where we outlined the time frame for the removal of the recreation facility, if you will. And I supplied those minutes to the city solicitor. And I haven't heard back from him, so I'm going to do a follow-up this week and see if he's made any progress on that letter to Mr. Gandini.
So we do not know if it's been sent or not.
No, I can't confirm that.
Okay.
And I know they've been good about reaching out to me in the past when they sent it, so I'm assuming hasn't been sent.
Could you follow up with them and push it along
Certainly.
if possible?
Do my best.
1145 Central Street.
Yep, I reissued that enforcement order. I gave the property owner one by hand when I was out there, but I'm reissuing the ratified order via mail. He now needs site plan approval for this property, so he is working with an engineer to come up with a site plan and to bring to the planning board. So I'm thinking that's a good avenue to incorporate all this in there, because he needs to, planning board comes to me for recommendations, or comes to the departments for recommendations regarding projects, and they're aware of the enforcement as well as the building inspector. So he'd like to use it as a car lot, so doing so would require a special permit. So that's where we're at with this, and I know he's working with Hannigan Engineering on coming up with his site plan. And that would have to be compliance with the Water Protection Act, whether that can even be done with what they had built.
I drive by there every day and I haven't even thought of it with all the snow, but there's nowhere for that snow to go but in the brook. So I'll look on my way to work tomorrow and I'll give you
I
a
drove
call.
by
Did you-
today, and they didn't plow it except for one little push
Okay.
that they did, and they put it right up against the hay bales. But other
But
than
that's
that,
still
They increased the impervious there, right?
yeah, by about,
dramatically,
off the top of my head, I don't know.
right up to the brook. in
Right
some
up to the
spots.
brook?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, snow storage.
There's zero
There's
snow
not.
storage on, the brook is snow storage. If you're gonna, otherwise it's going to the abutter's property or it's going in the road. So there is zero snow storage. Well, like get one of those ice melters, like.
Gonna have to do something. So if anybody sees any snow operations over there, let me know, and I'll certainly do my best to get in touch with the property owner to prevent that from happening.
Okay.
They're selling cars there now. There's a car out there.
There's a car
one,
out there.
But I think you're allowed one.
One unregistered vehicle
Yeah.
per,
So I mean that's how they're getting around it for now.
for now. But yeah, that's the avenue I'm working with at the moment.
So kind of through planning board,
Right.
we'll,
Well, if
It's
he
the-
intends to use that lot that he did all this work to
Right.
for that purpose, then it would behoove him to
to go off from
everything-
them.
Yeah, get everything squared away.
Keep us in the loop.
Will do.
35 Berkshire Drive.
Yep, they removed the fill as close to the virgin material that it could. I requested that they put jute matting on that, on the bank, essentially, or the slope. I wanted to reach out to his representative to get a final kind of like report from him, just like a follow-up. But again, like whether or not the wetland takes, that's gonna have to be determined in the spring.
Right.
And, you know, the additional need for seeding if it comes down to that. So yeah, the earth has been removed.
So it's been cleaned,
Right.
restabilized, and now we need to wait really till spring to figure out if it's all set.
The next course of what needs to be done.
So there's really nothing they need to do or we need to do until we can kind of see.
Not that I think. We still have the erosion control barrier
Right.
that was. Now I'm debating on whether I should have them remove that or keep it in place or like what.
That was relocated though once they removed the material,
It
right?
was not
It was
relocated.
not relocated.
We gotta just leave it there.
That's my thought, was that if we have any washout that occurs, it will maintain it to the already disturbed area.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I would agree with that. I think just to,
so that's why I had them do the jute matting.
yeah, try to control some of that, yeah. Alright. Any other questions? All set, Brad? Okay. Emergency certifications,
None.
any project updates?
I have a non-project project update. We voted not to clear Hill Street this year because of the money. Looks like it was done.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Huh.
So I don't know if someone's gonna come after us for money. But we voted not to do it, so.
Wow.
So I don't know if the
That's a
DPW just did
first.
it, or if, you know, I know there's a farmer there that used to do it in the past,
Hmm.
the Lost Acre Farm, I don't know if he did it.
I know somebody's been mowing a path up,
Yeah.
so maybe it's the same gentleman. That
Yeah, but this was a big job, I mean, to clear that whole field, like, because you get a lot of, you know, you get some more brush, you know, growing the, I don't know if the DPW did it,
Not that I know of. I could ask.
yeah.
Maybe it's just
I
something.
mean, we do it to maintain the meadow habitat, so I mean, it's a good thing. It's just, but I mean, if we decide we want to keep that meadow habitat, the birch are getting a lot bigger in the encroachments. So at some point, if we don't start taking out those encroached trees, it's going to,
Should we have forestry?
it's gonna go back to,
Something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it is a standard birch.
Yeah,
So.
it's, you know, it's like, it looks like it's about like 12, 14 feet now. It's just taken over,
Just
so.
getting there, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
But I just didn't want someone to say, hey, you owe us, whatever.
I hope
They
not.
used to do it, sometimes they would do it for free, like as part of, like they had,
Well, not last year, maybe they were just
Yeah.
tight for money, so, I don't know.
so we'll find out.
Go find out, I'll talk to.
It looks good though, whoever did it.
Well, it's good, it's good to hear.
Is there any, I guess my only question, is there any active projects now with snow that we should be concerned about?
Well, the biggest one's gonna be Slack Brook.
Right.
That's where my focus has been.
Okay.
But projects right now, pretty standard, like single-family homes going up here and there. Ava Way is still work in progress. So off the top of my head,
Okay.
What's the address on the Slackbrook one?
on what?
The Slackbrook project?
So you know where, what is it, White Street? Help me out.
Well, you go back past Leominster High School,
Up Exchange?
past, up Exchange, and right as you take the curve past, going up the hill past the high school on Exchange, it's right there on the right-hand side.
No, it's not the opposite bank.
Before you get to that house that has the driveway that crosses it, or?
It's before
It's
that.
Before that, yeah.
Okay.
It's the whole stretch between, along, on the right-hand side, there's like some houses, and then there's that stretch of like, nothing between
Yep,
that.
okay, I know that area now.
Does the project involve working on that structure for that driveway, or
No.
no? What about the structure below it? It's kind of like a collapse.
It's like a granite.
Wall of
yeah,
some
wall. I don't know. I'll have to look at the plans,
Yeah.
see if they address that.
I know it's
Seen that.
definitely not the crossing,
Right.
There is some rework though, a little.
but I
Yeah.
remember the granite, yeah.
Yeah, they were
I don't
more,
want to speak out.
They were
I just
pulling
never
some-
wanna
yeah.
get thrown up, just-
there was granite from old foundations, they were pulling out to shore up
Yeah.
the side and to build some areas of turbulence, I guess, for the trout or something. So they were kind of repositioning some of the stuff that was down there. Because there was an old factory right on the water, I guess, back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul, I'll look into that and see. I can shoot you the plans if you like.
Yeah, I've never seen that. I'd like to take a look at it.
How long, I mean, obviously they'll be out there all winter. Do they
A
have?
couple months,
Yeah.
that's what they were saying.
Okay.
It's a big operation.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to do there, so.
So a lot of it's gonna be
This
weather
is- this is
permitting.
the house,
Right.
So it's between.
Yeah, they're gonna be
this
closing down the road sometimes.
Right here.
Okay.
So yeah, a couple months for the time frame, but
Good size
that's
shell.
up in the air,
Sitting there
yes.
Sure, okay.
now. They've taken all the trees down.
Yeah, the bank on both sides of that Slack Brook, the banks are so unstable. And it's all sand, so it just kept,
Just going in.
falling in, the trees were falling on people's houses. City had to go out and remove some trees that were like leaning like this over, right by someone's house. Because this side, like the far side belongs to the city, it's city land, and then the homeowner, it's privately owned on like the side closest to Exchange Street.
That's all private?
Yeah. So the city owns like the far side of the brook. That's the property boundary, I believe. Because that's all owned by, that's city property for the school.
Yeah. And is that part of it? No? That's just
Surprising enough, it's not.
It's just gonna stay like that? Wow. Another day.
Another 20 years down the
Think-
line. This has been going on for 20 years.
Yeah,
I
that
think
whole,
they're in there, they do both sides.
yeah, that whole hillside just needs to be pulled back. And it's all sand, so you gotta pull the sand
Yeah.
back and change the grade and stabilize it.
Yeah,
Because it's filling up Rockwell Pond.
it's a lot of water that comes down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. What's the sediment coming from? Is it just
It just washes, the whole embankment
It's
is
just
on
the
Slack
bank
Brook.
itself, yeah.
bank itself? Okay.
So this is supposed to help that too. It's supposed to help spread the water out a little bit. Because it channelizes and then, it undercuts the whole, if you look at the, you can see where it just started to undercut the bank, like on the far side. And then whenever we get heavy rain, it just kind of fills up and the sand washes and it scours the sand and it just gets worse and worse.
There's an outfall as well for several catch basins on Exchange Street, and that pipe was exposed several feet.
Yeah.
Had been eroded away. So that was, that's where all the sediment's coming from, is that whole roadside.
Do we have an electronic copy of those plans?
Yeah.
Can you send it? I just be interested in seeing it.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I can send that.
Because they were supposed to do the whole slat, Exchange Street was supposed to be redone, but it keeps getting put on the city's list of improvements, but it's gonna cost so much money that they just, it never makes the cut. Because they wanted to put drainage in to, capture all that, that water and bring it further downhill, but it would be too much money, so they just have an outlet just sticking out.
There's quite a bit of water that comes down off of
Yeah.
up top there, right
Yeah.
off Pheasant Run.
Yeah, and it's fast too.
It builds up ice all winter long in that bend. It's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, so that's why they looked into drainage, but they said it was too much money.
Huh. Well, that's too bad,
Yeah,
because it's a pretty dangerous area.
yeah. And there's property owners, I mean, they got trees coming this way, they got water from the road, running onto their property, I mean.
I remember when we issued that NOI, there was a lot of neighbor concerns.
Yeah.
Have you heard all from the property owners, Marco,
Yes, I have.
since, I know the house with the flat roof that's got the solar panels on it?
Yes,
That woman was out the other day and she was barking up a storm at the operator.
I've been in correspondence with her.
Yeah, she didn't look very happy. No. Well, maybe once they're in there doing this, they'll realize how bad it is and appropriate some more money to keep
Nice.
going. I mean, 'cause it's bad really all the way up Exchange
Oh, yeah, sure.
to that, well, almost to Colonial Drive. And there's trees in there and there's a lot of obstruction. That brook needs a good cleaning.
Yeah.
You're retired.
My chainsaw only has a 16-inch bar on it, so the trees are pretty big.
We could probably allocate some money for a shovel.
Yeah, we could. It's just Wetlands Protection Act money.
Back braces and things. Get in there.
Any other discussion on any projects?
Not tonight.
All right. Budget, any changes?
No change there. I forgot to get us a report on that, but
You keeping track of it and it's all in
I've been
line?
keeping track of it. It's all on my computer, all on a spreadsheet.
Okay. Agents report,
None at this time.
chairman's report. I do not have anything to share at this time. Our next meeting is January 9th, 2018, with a deadline of December 28th, 2017. Anything would you like to speak before we close up? All right, with nothing new, this meeting is adjourned.